Tired of fantasy literature that caters only to wine-ounts and activists? Tired of love triangles and unlikable girl bosses? Tired of propaganda disguised as entertainment? If so, check the Guilds of Avlaan series, a series like no other ever written in the Western market, with cute and funny female leads and dashing male protagonists. This series is full of adventure and exciting landscapes. Do not let others decide what you enjoy. Look for what you enjoy. If you are interested, the link is in the description.
Hello, Leonardo Cornejo here with another video, and this is not a gameplay video. This is not a gameplay video, even though it will look like one. It's another kind of video, and the reason I'm making it this way are the following. First of all, when the camera is on, it overheats, and that limits sometimes the time I can record. Second, because Palworld 1.0 is consuming a lot of my time and mental energy, and the only way to balance it is this way. And third, because I know you don't want to see my face, and I sincerely don't want you to see my face either. So, I'm doing it this way. I'm doing it this way. In part also because Palworld is a game that makes it easy for me to do this. I actually tested it last week on the Spanish channel, and it came out well because I don't lose focus as much. Sometimes I will get distracted, but I don't lose focus as much with Palworld, in part because I'm not reading that much text. There are not cutscenes, at least not in what I do when I'm recording this, because I focus on leveling up, on advancing, on things like that. And also because I kinda got too used to playing it. So I basically have automated my thoughts in some activities. For example, basically everything related to bases, it's already automated in my mind. So I don't have to worry about much things. It looks so funny doing that. That Mosanda looks so funny. The thing is, it makes it easier for me to balance everything. I'm really having a hard time focusing. That's also why I haven't made Daigo videos lately. This year has been horrible. I won't go into much detail, but these past weeks, these past months have been really hard. And well, the passing of my father really affected me in many ways. Even ironically, in the economic sense, it didn't affect me as much. Negatively. It improved my life actually in the economic sense, but the profits don't outweigh the loss. The profits don't lighten the pain. The thing is, back to what I was saying. Since things are bad, this is the easiest way for me to record right now. Mentally, physically, chronologically, it's the easiest way for me to record right now. So I will be doing this way. And today I want to talk about something that I didn't expect to address. I didn't want to address. I don't like this manga. I don't like the anime that is getting adapted from it. I don't support it at all, but I need to do this. I need to do this because it's important. And we are going to talk about Mii-chan to Yamada-san. This manga, for summarize the plot, it's about two sex workers. One is Mii-chan, who is mentally disabled, has developmental issues. Seriously, she's retarded. And Yamada-san, who is more experienced in the field and a lot more, how do I put it, a lot more prepared for life in all senses than Mii-chan, because Mii-chan is retarded. This is I know you might be thinking, oh, you're being mean. No, this is actually important. This is actually important what I'm going to say. It's important. I'm not even joking. I'm serious. This is important. Addressing the topic that Mii-chan is retarded is going to be central to the topic of the video and to the problem. The thing is, since Mii-chan is retarded, she is going through a lot of problems, and eventually the plot focuses on basically the plot, not eventually, in general, the plot focuses on the events that led to her passing. She gets killed. To my understanding, based on what people were discussing, she literally gets killed, raped and murdered. It's not funny, it's not nice. At the very start of the series, at the very start of the story. By the way, you might be wondering why are there showers and restrooms outside of the building. That's how traditional Japanese housing was, and that's why the showers are close to the hot springs. The thing is, Mii-chan gets murdered, raped and murdered. It's not funny. It's not joke. And the story goes in retrospect. That's what I was told. I didn't read it. I have no interest in reading it after reading the premise. I was told that the story basically focuses on that. She gets raped and murdered right at the right in the first chapters, and the story goes in a retrospect of how things went that bad. Basically, a recount of how things got fucked up. It's really depressive, it's really grim, it's really dark, and I don't like that. It's important to have this preface. I don't like that. I hate that. I sincerely find it repugnant. I don't like grimdark. I don't like depressive stuff. I don't like sadness. I don't like depression. I have depression fatigue. Depression porn fatigue. I was actually telling someone, maybe I have depression porn fatigue because I read Oyasumi Ponpon and didn't finish it right when I was going through depression. So that's the thing. I don't like the premise of this manga. I don't like the premise of the anime adaptation by extension. Additionally, I don't like the idea of, because I can handle a detective mystery. What I can't handle are tragedies and depression stuff. I can handle detective mystery. I like detective mysteries. The thing is, additionally to that, I don't like what I mentioned with regards to Yani Echo, which is that I notice a tendency to enter into the field of grimdark depression porn with cute characters. Oh fuck, with cute characters, and that annoys me a lot. That annoys me a lot because basically I am an old school moe fan. I want my moe pure and intact. I am not even joking. I am not even exaggerating. I like my moe cute and intact. I want my moe separate from from the grimdark, from the depressive, from the sad. I want my moe cute and intact. I want my moe pure. I like cute characters. I like cute characters in a sexual way too, but I don't like the idea of making it dark, of making it depressive, of making it obscene or violent or cruel. I like eroticism, not porn, and I don't like to. How do I say it? I like eroticism that is wholesome, and it can be, because eroticism is actually part of life and reproduction. Sex is part of life and reproduction, so basically that's why I don't like prostitution, which is a recurring theme in this manga. I don't like sexual violence. I don't like rape. I actually don't like many doujinshi that are very popular because they contain rape or gangbangs. I don't like that. That Pipa Dojin, which got really famous, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's going to be controversial, I know, but I don't like it, and I didn't enjoy it.
because I don't like gangbangs. I don't like rape. I don't like those things. I don't find them arousing. When I see those things, I consider it a tragedy. And I don't like to mix those things with moe characters, with cuteness, with happy-go-lucky appearance. I can understand and respect that an author decides to use those elements as a plot device, but there are things that I don't like when they are done that way. And I firmly believe, and this is a position that is going to be a bit controversial, a lot more controversial than anything else I will say today. I think that rape, especially of cute characters, can easily become a cheap shot way to elicit an emotional response from the reader. There was actually this manga I was reading, I won't say the name because I want it to be forgotten. You know, I have that principle about making things getting forgotten when I don't like them. I don't give them attention when I don't like them, unless it is necessary to give them attention or they are already getting a lot of attention. There was this manga I was reading where everything, I was enjoying it, it was interesting, it had a cool mystery and all that stuff. Everything went to shit for me the moment the cute girl, love interest of the protagonist, got raped. From there on, and the manga didn't last much long after that, so I think I'm not the only one dissatisfied with that. But from there on, I just read it because I was already halfway through, and the manga ended like 4 or 5 chapters after that, fortunately. To me, it felt like it went to shit. The fact that a cute girl, a loli, mind you, got raped ruined the manga for me. That ruined the manga for me. So if that ruined the whole manga for me in the past, of course I'm not going to like Mii-chan no to Yamada-san, which starts with that, basically. With that said, and this is the important part, with that said, because I said that Yanineko and Takopi were going to start a negative trend. With that said, and this is where it gets important, with that said, I need to defend Mii-chan to Yamada-san today. And I will need to defend it for the upcoming years, probably. Why? Because the usual suspects, the censorious feminists, are attacking it. And the reason is that it's controversial. The manga itself was controversial from the start. One of the reasons is that Mii-chan is retarded. Mental disability is a touchy subject in Japan. Being called insane in some contexts and social circles is basically like using the N-word hard R in the United States. I will put it that way. It's extremely offensive for the Japanese to be called insane. If a fictional character gets called insane, that might cause controversy. Mental health issues, including mental disability, are a controversial subject in Japan. Because of multiple reasons, they are a controversial subject in Japan. With that said, and this is important for context, Mii-chan is an offensive character to many because of that. Because she's retarded. Because she's clinically mentally disabled. Because she's less intelligent than the average. Some people get very offended by her existence. Some people get very sensitive about her existence. Mii-chan is considered offensive and problematic by these hypersensitive people. And that's part of the problem here. That Mii-chan was offensive. She as a character was offensive, was deemed offensive by people who are easily offended. And that's where the plot thickens, I would say. Because that's how feminists, who are part of this problem, feminists and leftists in general, have started a few grifts, including one of the of asking for donations for an activist group to basically promote the censorship of this manga and the anime. And that's a problem. that they want to censor Mii-chan to Yamada-san, and I need to defend it now. I don't like defending things that I don't enjoy, and that's one thing that I had issues with Yanni Neko, for example. I don't like defending things that I don't enjoy. But this is necessary because in this case it's not like Yanni Neko that is totally astroturfed and it's just gross out humor and nobody was taken seriously on trying to censor it. With Mii-chan, things got so serious and this really got so bad that an organization focused on the well-being and rights of the disabled had to make an official communique saying, "We checked the manga and we saw no problem with it." We saw no problem with it. We actually saw a story that points at the hardships and injustice of being disabled in Japan. Once again, I have issues with the fact that it is a manga made for the message, in quotations, that it is a manga with social commentary, that it is a manga that corrupts Moe into depressive content. I don't like that. You know I don't like that. I have mentioned it before that I hate that kind of stuff. I hate that kind of stuff with all my heart. But the thing is, I need to defend it. I need to defend it because if I don't defend this, other more important things will get censored. This is not, as I said, this is not like Yanni Neko. That is just pee poo poo kaka humor. This is a rather serious manga. Some have told me that this one is actually very well written. This is not, as I said again, this is not a comedy. This is not gross out humor. This is a very serious manga about a girl with disabilities getting raped and murdered for working in the sex work industry. It's a very horrible manga. I will say it that way. It's a very horrible manga. It's a very depressive manga, but it is not. It is not the kind of manga that is badly written, and it is not basically putting all these disturbing things for shits and giggles. It's not for fun that it portrays this. It's more of a social commentary on the discrimination of the disabled and the abuse of sex workers. I don't like the topic, but I don't think killing prostitutes is wrong. I will sound crazy because people are like, "But Leo, you find prostitution unacceptable." Yes, but I think raping and killing prostitutes is still wrong. And anyone who says otherwise is probably a psychopath I don't want near me. And there are people who are like, "Oh, killing a prostitute is not a big deal. After all, they are whores. They are worthless." Yeah, I think prostitutes are worthless, but no, doesn't justify rape and murder. And that's the thing. The topic of this manga is too disturbing, it's too depressive, and it's too focused on topics that I don't like. That's it. That's my point. It has topics that I don't like, but it is not. It is objectively not mere gross out humor, unlike Yanni Neko, and it is getting targeted in a censorship campaign, and that's why I need to fight back. And there are people, important people in the industry, being part of that censorship campaign, because one of the people who are in the censorship campaign was actually a famous animator. If I remember well, it was an animator, a famous one, a woman, a feminist, by the way, and she actually was grifting with this. And I say grifting because she basically formed an entire group to ask for donations to promote the censorship of this manga. It was a scam, mind you. So feminism, it was a farce, it was a fraud. And these people went ran with your money if you paid them. But the thing is, it got this bad. It got this bad that I really need to defend Mii-chan to Yamada-san, because these censorious freaks are going that far with this. They are not just saying I don't like it and I don't want it, I don't watch it. No, they are doing exactly what I consider crossing the line. It's okay to like or not like things. Even Yanineko. I attack Yanineko a lot because it bothers me a lot, and because it bothers me that the people are trying to use it as measure of who should be gatekept. I think both Yanineko and Boku no Pico should never be used as gatekeeping tools because they are disgusting. Especially Boku no Pico. I probably could tolerate Yanineko a lot more than Boku no Pico for one simple reason. Boku no Pico is gay porn. Gay porn is disgusting. And I think Fuyoshi don't understand this, but heterosexual men react to gay porn the way we react to rotting meat, to rotting carcasses. So to us, Boku no Pico is like seeing a dead body. I don't know about you, but I don't like seeing dead bodies. Back to what I was saying about Yanineko. I think I am more likely to tolerate Yanineko than to tolerate Boku no Pico. Boku no Pico is just too fucking disgusting. But I don't think either should be used as means to gatekeep people because they are too extreme. Because they are too niche. I think the only means of using them as measure to gatekeep is if people want to censor them or not. If people want to censor them, yeah, anyone who calls for censorship should be gatekept. And not just of this, of anything. Anyone who calls for censorship, this is telling me right where I should put the divide. Anyone who calls for censorship should be gatekept. No exceptions. Anyone calling for censorship should absolutely be gatekept. Gatekeeping the censorious is necessary. And that's the important part here with Mii-chan to Yamada-san. We need to get rid of these people from the industry. They are attacking from within. The attack to Mii-chan to Yamada-san is from within. We need to get rid of these people from the entire industry. We need to get them fired. We need to get their lives basically severed from anime and manga entirely. The censorious and all feminists and all leftists must be excised from culture entirely. And that's why I am going to fight for Mii-chan to Yamada-san, even if I don't like it, even if I find it repulsive, and maybe, maybe once it's over, and depending on a lot of factors, I might actually change my mind and give it a chance. Depending on a lot of factors, and particularly the quality of the writing. If it is really well written, and the social commentary outweighs the depression, I might actually give it a chance, because I think it's absolutely abhorrent. And this is crazy. This is crazy because today I'm going to say some really crazy shit. I am a eugenist. I am in favor of eugenics. I think the disabled shouldn't be allowed to continue being born. But I think those who are already born should be treated with dignity and respect and mercy and compassion, because they are already dealt a bad hand. That's why I said I was going to say something crazy. I think the people with disabilities who is already born are not at fault for being born. And while we should avoid as much as possible to make more of them, the ones who are already born, it will be absolutely vile and unjust to abuse them. I don't want them near me. I don't like them. I find them unpleasant. I had very bad experiences with people with mental disabilities. But I think abusing them, I think torturing them, I think injuring them is unforgivable and unacceptable. And I think they need to be treated with some level of dignity and respect, despite not liking them. This is the important part. Despite not liking them, I think they need to be treated with some level of dignity and respect. And that's why I think if the idea behind Mii-chan to Yamada-san is really that legitimate, it's an important work, despite finding it unpleasant. Because I think it needs to be told that just because you don't like someone doesn't mean you want that someone killed. Leftists are different. They are subhuman and they think if you don't like someone, that person needs to be killed. That's why I don't like them and why I think they must be removed because they are dangerous, because they are aggressively hostile, because they celebrate the murder of people they don't like. But the thing is, just because you think prostitutes or the disabled are unpleasant to you as they are to me, doesn't mean it's justified to kill them. And that thing, if this manga is addressing it, I think that's a positive in a sense. Even if I don't like it, and even if I don't like in general the idea of polluting my beloved Moe with the message, I am willing to defend this manga because I have seen some level of proof that rather I am willing to change my mind on this manga because I have seen some level of proof that it has worth, and I am willing to defend it from censorship as much, if not more, as I would be willing to defend Yani Neko from censorship, and this is important. I will fight to defend Yani Neko from censorship if need be. I won't let Yani Neko be censored, even if I find it absolutely disgusting and abhorrent. I won't let Yani Neko be censored. I will fight against censorship of anything and everything. First of all, because, well, with exceptions. With exceptions that are basically just propaganda. Propaganda is the only exception. But I will do it because I care. Because these are things that, if we don't protect them, we risk losing them forever. If we don't protect these things, we'll risk losing more valuable things. If we don't fight back against censorship now, when the time comes, it will be too late. As I said, with the exception of propaganda and things like, like gay porn and things like that, I think that doesn't deserve to be defended as much, especially because the people who are protecting it were the ones who destroyed what we love. But when it comes to things that are controversial, that are offensive, like Yani Neko, like Mii-chan to Yamada-san, they must be protected. And with Mii-chan, things are heavier because with Yani Neko, there were detractors, and there was the usual discourse of I don't like this, I hate it, and some people calling you a tourist if you don't like it, which is why I actually got polarized against Yani Neko. I got polarized against Yani Neko because they were trying to polarize me in favor of. If you try to polarize me in favor of something that I by default don't like, I will get polarized against it. Aggressively. Aggressively and vindictively polarized against it. But with Mii-chan to Yamada-san is different because it's not polarizing. It's not polarizing. Because nobody's trying to pressure me into supporting it. Everyone is just talking about how there is a censorship campaign already. And that's the thing. There is a censorship campaign already. It already started. The problem is already here. It's not something that happened by astroturfing. It's something that happened because this manga was, as I said, already controversial by the time it came out in the past. It was already deemed offensive. It was already deemed too violent, too cruel, too pornographic, whatever. And that's where as I said, the plot thickens because the production committee actually had to issue a formal apology due to the pressure, and that was unjust, first of all, and second, there was this group of people, this like support organization for people with disabilities, which is a very respectable cause. As I said, just because I don't like the disabled and I think they shouldn't be born anymore, doesn't mean I think the ones who are already here should be mistreated. I think the ones who are already here, well, uh, they don't deserve to be abused further. They are already suffering enough with their disability. And the thing is, there was this group of support to people with mental disabilities, which actually took their time to read Mii-chan to Yamada-san, and they studied it, and they even said, this is not exploitative, this is not abusive, this is actually trying to discuss a topic that should be discussed. and that's when I decided to make this video, because the response to them was not, okay, you say it's fine, that means it's not even worth a controversy. No, the response was sending them a firebombing threat. Was sending or arson, I don't remember, but basically they were threatened with physical violence for saying Mii-chan to Yamada-san was not abusive or offensive to the disabled, and that it was actually probably beneficial to the disabled. So basically, for opposing censorship and having a coherent morality, they were threatened with violence. They were threatened with basically suffering the same fate as Kyoto Animation. I can't. I can't tolerate that. That's a level of injustice that you shouldn't be tolerating or allowing in any context. That's actually evil. There is evil in this world, and it manifests that way. It manifests when people try to justify violence through social justice, through arguments of morality, through whatever. It's wrong. It's unacceptable. It's unforgivable. And I'm really angry about that. I'm really angry about that because basically the people who say there is nothing wrong with this manga are being threatened with violence for saying it, for saying there is nothing wrong with it, for saying this is just a manga that is not even harmful in any sense, and it's not even hostile, and it's not even mean-spirited. It's actually a good thing that it exists, and they get threatened. They get threatened with violence for opposing censorship, and that's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. I can't tolerate that. That's an injustice that I just can't tolerate. I can't forgive. I can't forget. So I'm going to fight back. And I'm going to defend this manga because no matter how objectionable I find it, and I do find it objectionable, no matter how objectionable I find it, if even the people who will normally protest about offensive stuff say this is not a problem, not only is it not a problem, the problem is the people who want to censor it. Because if the people who would be most sensitive about the topic say this manga is acceptable, then it is not just acceptable, it's probably admirable. Because these are the people who would get offended if it was a problem. Because we are talking about an organization dedicated to the well-being of the people with disabilities. They are not going to tolerate basically humiliation of the disabled just for fun. Which is, as I said, one of the differences with Gianni Neko to me. That this manga is not about offensive things for shits and giggles. It's not about offensive things for fun. It's about a very serious topic and treated with some level of seriousness. What I don't like, as I said before, what I don't like is that it's basically this trend of grimdark topics using moe as an accessory, and that's what I don't like. That's what I don't support. That's why I oppose. Because, as I said, I want my pristine and cute world to stay cute. If I could make the entire world cute, I would. I would. If I could fill the world with cuteness, if I could become the new demiurge and distort the world into a world of absolute cuteness, I would. But I can't. I can't. I live with the reality that I can't and I won't. My point is, that's why I don't like this manga. That's why I don't like this story, because it takes the cuteness and corrupts it, from my perspective. But I am still actually very open about the possibility that I am mistaken. I am open to the possibility that I am mistaken, and maybe I am misjudging this one because of the depression fatigue I have, and especially because it seems it's actually well written, and the attack it's getting from the usual suspects makes me think maybe this isn't just well written. Maybe this is actually saying something about their narratives that harms their narratives. So I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight back and side with this manga, even if it is something I don't like, and I will defend it in full earnestly, in full sincerity, because it must be defended. Unlike Yanineko, this one, this one seems to be made of good quality, of good enough quality to make me say, if we don't defend this, if we don't defend this, next thing that could be attacked is something I will like. Next thing on the chopping block could be something I do care about, and I can't let that happen. I can't allow that to happen. I can't let what I care about getting destroyed by these evil forces just because I decided it was not my problem when it was something I don't care about. So I will fight back. I will fight back, I will defend, I will do what I had no plans of doing, that is saying, I am protecting this one. I am protecting this one because I don't want it censored. I don't want censorship entering my hobbies. I don't want censorship ruining my hobbies. I don't want censorship touching my hobbies. I think it's time we all take a hardline stance against censorship. I think it's time we all get more aggressive against censorship. We have been too patient, too tolerant, and too kind to the censorious, and it's time we fight back. It's time we start saying enough. It's time we start saying, no, you are not censoring this one. You are not censoring this one, and you are not censoring the next. You are not touching our hobbies anymore. And if you try to do it from inside the industry, we are excising you from the industry. And that's important. This is an attack from within the industry. This is an attack coming from people who are part of the industry. We need to get them fired and blacklisted. We need to act without mercy, without respect, not care if these people were important, if these people had a valuable portfolio, if these people were foundational to the industry. No, if you are censorious, you must go. If you are a feminist, you must go. If you are a communist, you must go. If you are a leftist, you must go. Because we are no longer tolerating that. We are no longer allowing that. We are getting rid of everyone who is like that. Of every single one of them, we must get rid. We must be merciless, we must be ruthless, we must be cruel with them. Because otherwise, they will destroy everything we care for, everything we work for, everything we have built. And as a creator, I think that's what must be done. We must excise them from our hobbies. We must excise them from our communities. We must excise them from our media. All of them must be removed permanently and mercilessly. And that's my point today. That's how I end this video. If we don't get rid of these people, they will destroy everything we are working for, everything we care for. If we don't stop them, they will destroy all we have worked for, all we have made, all we care about. And I don't want that. I don't want them polluting and destroying everything. I prefer to have things that make me uncomfortable than let the censorious win. It's not even but you are as bad as them. No. It's I have things to protect and care for. I have things to work for. I have goals, I have plans, I have interests, and I can't let these evil grudges get in the way of everything I have created, of everything I care about, of everything I like. So I will fight. And today that means defending.
Something I don't like.
Well, that's it for today. Have a good one.